Society tells us that getting rich is all about doing things like buying the next big stock everyone talks about. But that's not all true. Having the right mindset is just as important. As Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck studied 12,000 ninth graders, she gave some a class on having a growth mindset, and others a different class. The kids with a growth mindset got much better grades. This shows that how you think can help you succeed. Buddha once said, "Your mind is everything. What you think, you become." That's partly true, but just thinking right isn't enough. You also need to do the right things to reach your goals. So mindset matters, but you also need to take action, which we'll talk about more later. Many people don't become rich because from the time we're born, we learn to think in a way that stops us from getting rich. I'm not talking about being very poor. If you live in the United States, you're not as poor as people in many other parts of the world. But it's about having a poverty mindset. This means always feeling like you don't have enough and thinking things will never get better. This makes it hard to make and keep money. The poverty mindset makes you scared you'll never have enough money and makes you believe things can't get better. This keeps you stuck. It's not just about having little money, but about how you think about your money. When you were a kid, how often did your parents say, "We can't afford that," or "We can't do this"? Sometimes it was true, but other times it was just an easy answer to avoid finding a solution. This made you think there were no other choices. You probably learned this way of thinking from your parents, but it's not just about home, it's also about school. Our schools were made a long time ago during the Industrial Revolution to make workers who follow rules. The school system hasn't changed in over 200 years, and it still teaches people to think inside the box, avoid mistakes, and get jobs to work up the corporate ladder. This way of thinking keeps us from breaking out and becoming really rich. But there's a way to change this. Here's some steps that can help a lot. But first, if you like this and you want to learn more about money and investing, join my free newsletter in the link below. So, did you learn about money in school? Probably not. If you did, tell us in the comments where you're from, because I'd love to know. Most of us learned about money from our parents. If they weren't good with money, we might not be good with it either. And this is where the "we can't afford it" thinking comes from. It stops us from thinking of other ways. But here's a simple trick to change that. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," ask yourself, "How can I afford it?" It's a small change, but makes a big difference. This question helps you think of new ideas and ways to find solutions. The goal isn't to get rich overnight, it's to change how you think about problems. By asking how, you start looking for ways to solve them, even if it takes time. Now, think about when you were a kid. How did you decide what job you wanted when you grew up? You probably thought about what you were good at and what people would pay you to do. If you were good at science, you might want to be a doctor. Good at math, maybe an engineer. Good at English, maybe a lawyer. Our parents and teachers often tell us to pick something we're good at, get better at it, and then make money from it. This is how most people choose their jobs. But this way of thinking can hold us back. First, if you're doing the work yourself, there's only so many hours in a day you can work. You can't work all the time without eating or sleeping. Second, there's a limit to how much someone will pay you for your skills. Even if you're a top doctor and make a lot of money per hour, you can't keep charging more forever. For most people, this is okay. But if you want to get rich faster, think differently. Instead of just doing a job really well and getting paid for it, think about what many people need. Ask yourself, what can I make that people need? This way, you're not just trading your time for money. You're making something that can help many people at once. And this lets you reach more people and make more money. The next idea might surprise you because it's different from what you've always heard. Stop working hard just to stay busy. When you work hard just to keep busy, you're not always doing more. You're like a small part in a machine, just helping things run but not showing your real value. A small part can be replaced, but if you think and work smart, you can be the whole machine. People with a poverty mindset follow the rules very strictly. They do their job, try not to make mistakes, and hope to stand out. They think if they work hard enough, they'll get paid what they deserve. But this doesn't always happen. Do you think CEOs who make 351 times more money than the average worker really work 351 times harder? Probably not. To be really successful, you need to be special and not just follow the rules. Make your own path. If you've got a great idea, try it. Don't listen to people who say your goals are too big. They're probably still thinking like small parts in a machine. Aim to be the whole machine, doing something unique and valuable. We all start life in different places. Some of us have more help, like living in a nice neighborhood or having rich parents. Others have more problems, like growing up in a poor area or not having the best chances. It's not fair, and we should try to make the whole world better for kids in the future, but making the world fair takes a long time, maybe longer than our lives. And while we work to make things fairer, the best thing you can do now is to improve your own life. Learn new things, change how you think about money, and teach your kids so that they have a better start. I don't know everything or have all the answers about getting rich. I'm still learning every day. These are just some ideas that have helped me think better about money, and I'm happy to share more with you here. Remember, it's not just about thinking differently, you have to do something with those thoughts. If you don't act on your new ideas, nothing will change. You need to understand the basics of money and personal finance, and this video is a good place to start. I'll teach you some important tips that very rich people use to grow their money, things you might not know yet.